In this video, I'm going to tell you the 10 vegetables you should get in your garden in late April or early May, depending upon when your frost hazard has lifted for your area. This is not a general and generic overview either. I'm going to tell you the specific types that I've grown over the years and some I planted right now. I'll provide links to the specific varieties I mentioned in this video's description and comments section below. Stick around to the end of this short video as I'm going to tell you why I put these particular plants above all others, which you absolutely have to start in your garden in late April or May. Download our small space high yield gardening guide by clicking on the link in the description and comments section below. Enjoy the video. Sweet potatoes. You're going to need an area or trough to let the vines grow. It may take root everywhere the vine grows and give you more sweet potatoes. This is why I grow mine in a large trough or their own raised bed. Trust me, it's worth it. The number of calories and carbohydrates in a cup of sweet potatoes can vary slightly depending on the size and specific variety of the sweet potato. However, as a general estimate, 1 cup, about 200 grams of cooked mashed sweet potatoes contains roughly 180 calories and approximately 41 grams of carbs. From white to orange to purple, there's a wide range of options, even with its own high vitamin and antioxidant content. Since the sweet potato is not from the daily nightshade family like a typical potato, many varieties have completely edible leaves. This can provide another edible green food source while you wait for your sweet potatoes to mature. Just make sure the variety you plant has edible leaves. This is a food source that will be stored in the ground over seasons. It will favor warm and moist environments, so any of the southern regions will have perfect climates. I've successfully grown sweet potatoes in troughs, seasoned them, and harvested them over a year later. There's a massive one I harvested just this last year. Surprisingly, they aren't woody like some other vegetables when they get to this size. That makes this vegetable versatile, hardy, calorically dense, simple to grow, and packed with nutrition. Garlic. One drawback to garlic is that it typically requires a full 9 months to reach maturity. It's a long wait, but definitely worth it. Garlic comes in 2 main varieties, hardneck and softneck, which refer to the type of stem that emerges from the bulb. Hardneck garlic has a sturdy central stalk, larger cloves, a more robust flavor, and a shorter storage life. On the other hand, softneck garlic features a flexible stalk, smaller cloves, a milder taste, and a longer storage life. A wide range of varieties is available, so you can experiment with both to find the flavor that suits you best. If you're growing hardneck garlic, it will produce a flowering stalk. When this twisty stalk starts to loop over itself, simply cut it at the base. You can use these flowering stalks in stir-fries or sauté dishes. You can also consume a few of the outer leaves, but not too many, as trimming the garlic in this manner helps channel the plant's energy into bulb development. Most people give garlic way too much room to grow. You can plant individual cloves of garlic about 4 to 6 inches apart, arranging them in rows with a zigzag pattern for optimal spacing, yielding up to 40 heads of garlic in a 3-foot square area. Garlic offers various varieties, each with unique flavors and storage qualities, making it a rewarding and nutritious addition to your garden. Radishes. Radishes make the list because some varieties can mature in just 20 days, so you can plant radishes and eat them by the end of the month. If you don't like the pungent and peppery cherry bell, the most commonly store-bought variety, fear not. There are well over 100 varieties of radishes that vary in size, shape, sweetness, and pungency. You can also eat them in ways that will greatly vary their flavor, from raw to roasted to sautéed or pickled. And don't throw out the greens either. Radish greens like beet, turnip, or carrot tops are edible, offering a range of flavors from slightly bitter or spicy to earthy, suitable for raw or cooked consumption, comparable to arugula or spinach. Radishes are rich in antioxidants like vitamin C and minerals like calcium and potassium. They're also a good source of fiber to help you balance sugar levels and enhance gut health. Bush beans. There are thousands of types of beans, but I wanted to narrow this down to just 2 types to consider planting. The cranberry bean and the tongue of fire beans are crimson spotted and streaked Italian heirloom bush varieties. Many beans are viney plants that require space, but these bush varieties are far more forgiving when it comes to pruning, pollination, and watering. The red color in the beans come from anthocyanins, which are potent antioxidants. The bean is versatile and can be dried or used instead of kidney beans. They're loaded with fiber, protein, iron, folate, magnesium, potassium, and many other vitamins, minerals, and essential nutrients. One well-tended plant can provide you with over a pound of beans and thrive equally in a container or in the ground. At just around 55 days of maturity, this can also provide you with a quality food to eat quickly after planting. Tomatoes, determinant. So I've grown tomatoes for years in hundreds of different varieties, from hybrids to heirlooms. There's always something new I learn about tomatoes each year. I know that the carrot, tiny tim, Ace 55, Rio Grande, and subarctic plenty are forgiving, plentiful, and can satisfy all your tomato needs. Most importantly, though, they are determinate varieties. This means they don't require a vast amount of space to accommodate vine after vine. They can be trained to a container and have a small footprint with incredibly high yields. The tiny tim variety will leave you exhausted from picking so many. And this is true for the subarctic plenty, which can provide harvestable tomatoes in as little as 45 days, making it perfect for colder climates with shorter growing seasons. If you're looking for more of a paste tomato, perhaps easier to grow than the classic Roma, consider the Rio Grande. It's a lot more heat tolerant and can just as easily be made into sauces, paste, or canned. In my opinion, it has a subtle flavor that lends itself better to salsas than the Roma. The taste difference between a freshly picked homemade tomato and a store-bought one harvested weeks before ripening is unmistakable, evident with every bite. Bush peppers. You might recognize a theme here in my recommendations, and that's bush varieties. Other viney or tall plants are great, but bush varieties tend to have a quicker time to maturity, are more compact, and can have greater yields, albeit usually smaller fruit. The same is true for peppers. Bush variety pepper plants have a compact, bushy growth habit and typically do not require staking or support. They are well suited for container gardening or small garden spaces, giving you a small footprint but a big yield. My three favorite in this category are the pimento, sweet cherry, little beaks, and corbaci. The little beaks, also known as teardrops, sometimes have just a little heat to them, but they pickle amazingly. The corbaci is a tall plant at about 4 feet, but it will give you copious amounts of sweet, long peppers that are good, yellow, or fully ripened to red. You're probably already familiar with the sweet cherry and pimento. These peppers will provide you with an incredible amount of vitamin C, A, and antioxidants. Like the tomato, there is no comparison between a pepper that you have freshly grown and picked and a store-bought version that was picked weeks before it was ready to ripen. You're going to taste the difference with every bite. Carrots. If I say carrot and you think of that one orange variety in the store, devoid of its green top and possibly even shaped into what they call a baby carrot, you're missing out on a world of varieties and flavors. Carrots take about 70 days to mature, so you want to plant them now. You can let them go longer, and they'll grow larger, and you'll want to clip the greens and eat those too. Most of the world does that. Only in America do we throw the greens out, which is one of the most nutritional parts of the plant. Long or short, orange, white, purple, red, yellow, or black, there's a carrot that's the right flavor for you. I've taken to planting carrots randomly throughout my garden because it makes a great companion plant. Planting carrots near aromatic herbs like onions and garlic can help deter pests, while shallow-rooted crops such as radishes and lettuce can minimize competition for soil nutrients, benefiting both the carrots and these companion plants. Chard. For another video we did, I planted chard in a 5-gallon bucket, and the results have been incredible. I have so much chard that I can barely keep up with eating it all. This is another plant, similar to spinach in the way that you can prepare it, but is probably richer in antioxidants and nutrients. The leafy and often colorfully stalked green is subtle enough to be consumed in soups, salads, or smoothies. Chard is nutrient-rich and prolifically growing, making it an abundant crop that you can continually harvest in about 60 days. It's exceptionally high in vitamins and minerals, especially vitamins A, C, and K, as well as magnesium, potassium, and iron. Squash. Bush varieties. I don't have the space for long vines nor the extra time to keep the vines pest-free, trimmed, and trained, so I have also turned to bush varieties of squash. The scalloped golden bush and rounded ice are two of my favorites because of their compact size and high yield. I find these two varieties give me the range of uses I want in squash as well, from soups to stir-fries to zucchini bread and even stuffed. These two varieties can be grown in containers, but I find the yield greater when I plant them in the ground. Either way, you will be impressed with the amount of fruit and pleased with the maturity time of around 50 days. Onions. In my opinion, a garden is not complete without onions. This is another vegetable that I've grown multiple varieties of in multiple different conditions over the years. While you may be familiar with green onions, shallots, red onions, white onions, yellow onions, pearl onions, and leeks, you may not be familiar with one of my favorites, the Egyptian walking onion. I've mentioned it on the channel before, and I'm in my second year of growing these perennial wonders. Perfect for permaculture gardens or low-maintenance food crops, perennial onions, also known as tree onions, produce bulbs at both ends of the plant. Most notable are the bulbs at the top of the plant that become so heavy they force the plant to bend, fall to the ground, and then plant themselves again. They literally will walk across your garden and provide you year after year with fresh scallon-like greens, bulbs, and even a stalky onion that can be thinned out and eaten entirely. You have to plant the bulbs in season when they're relatively still fresh. Well, I will put a source link in the comments and description section below. I found the best source to be online sources like Etsy or eBay, where someone else's growing season has them with bulbs on hand. Keep your ears open locally as well, because once someone plants these for themselves, they're going to want to share it with their neighbors. I wouldn't be surprised if you told me some of these plants have already walked around the world, especially when you consider that my variety is shipped to me from outside the United States. If you're not daring enough to give these exotically named onions a chance, consider the potato onion, scallions, torpedo, or shallot onions. These are smaller but bountiful and quick growing. Onions are quick maturing, low maintenance, and highly flavorful garden additions with a short growing season. Why these vegetables? If you haven't guessed, I'll tell you why I chose these particular vegetables and varieties. I selected these varieties because they can give you massive harvests relatively quick, require low maintenance, and favor smaller growing areas. Bush varieties are compact and can provide you with very high yields. I also have experience growing each of these over the years, so I can honestly tell you that you will not be disappointed. Many of these vegetables have become a staple part of my diet over the years. Here I cooked up the chard, tiny kobachi pepper, Egyptian walking onion, garlic, and small pimentos that I pulled from my garden for this video. Wilting it with a little bacon grease, pepper, sprinkle of salt, and about an ounce of apple cider vinegar gives you a healthy, nutritious, and delicious dose of greens. These particular plants grow so well that I could quite literally eat them every day and not run out. Be sure to check out our gardening playlist, which you can click on here on the side of the screen to check out our other videos to get you started on gardening today. As always, stay safe out there.